Mr. President, on Israel and Iran, have you heard any signals or seen any messages from intermediaries that Iran wishes to de-escalate the conflict?
Yeah.
What have you heard? What have you heard from the Iranians?
They'd like to talk, but they should have done that before. I had 60 days, and they had 60 days, and on the 61st day, I said, we don't have a deal. They have to make a deal, and it's painful for both parties, but I'd say Iran is not winning this war, and they should talk, and they should talk immediately before it's too late.
That was President Trump at the G7 today, confirming Iran does want to talk. Israel now has controls of the skies over eastern Iran, including Tehran. Western Iran. This is a game changer. Israel has eliminated both the nuclear threat and the missile threat out of Iran. Stocks rallied, oil prices dropped. Markets are shrugging this off. Joining us now, Israel's ambassador to the United Nations. He's Danon. Ambassador, thanks for coming on. Is Israel pushing for a regime change in Iran?
Thank you for having me, Liz. We have a very clear goals in this operation. We want to stop the nuclear race of Iran. We want to stop the ballistic missile infrastructure. And also we want to make sure that there is no threat for the destruction of Israel. We pray for a regime change. You know, we know that the Iranians are suffering under the regime. We hope that one day they will have a better future. But we are focused now on the military targets. But it's up to the Iranian people to decide what's good for them. And I know that they are suffering. You know, leave aside what we think, but look at the economy of Iran, you know, the poverty in Iran. They suffer in the winter when it's too cold, in the summer it's too hot. And I wish that they would have a different regime there.
Are you seeing it from the streets of Iran right now that that they're forming protests to possibly overthrow the regime?
Well, it's hard to tell. You know, we get a lot of videos and messages of encouragement. You know, today in the UN, in the General Assembly, I spoke in Farsi to the Persian people, telling them that we love them, we pray for them, and we are not fighting them. And I got a lot of feedback back from hundreds of people. So yes, we know that they want to see a change, but to tell you that they actually went to the streets, I think it's too early.
Too early. Okay, President Trump, he will not sign the G7 joint statement to call for Israel and Iran to de-escalate. Veteran lawmakers are saying if there's a truce, that would leave Iran's theocratic dictators in place and the mullahs in charge. That would guarantee even more terrorism, possibly a future war, a nuclear one. Now we've got the USS Nimitz aircraft carrier strike group on its way to the Middle East to join the USS Carl Vinson carrier strike group. Reportedly, over 24 U.S. Air Force refueling tankers from across the U.S. appeared on flight tracking software headed over to the Middle East, heading over the Atlantic. So it sounds like, and it seems like the U.S. is surging military assets there. Can you tell us more about that?
Well, that will be a U.S. decision what to do. But I can tell you one thing. You know, we have to be very skeptical about the Iranians. You know, they are masters of deception. For decades, they played with the entire international community. And even now, when they're saying, yes, maybe, you know, they are saying in Farsi that don't look at the hands, look at the legs of somebody who is like you're dealing with. So we shouldn't listen to them. We should look at the actions of the regime. You know, and for the last decade, they continued with the nuclear bomb. They lied to everybody. To all the international organizations, and I think they are lying today as well.
Thank you, UN Ambassador to Israeli Ambassador Danon. We appreciate you so much, sir, for coming on. It's good to see you again. Now, please listen to this.